You mean nothing to me anymore. Never come back to this house again." Those cruel words from my father still ring in my ears. I remember the day clearly. I had just finished high school, full of hope for the future. But that hope was crushed when my father kicked me out of the house. My fiancé, Nicholas, who is now my husband, stood by my side. With tears in my eyes and a heavy heart, I walked away from the only home I had ever known. My name is Angela. I'm 35 years old now, and I live and work on a farm. It's been 17 years since I left my family home, and soon I'll have spent more of my life away from that house than I ever spent in it. That thought makes me emotional. So much has changed since those days, but the pain of being rejected by your own family never truly disappears. I grew up in the city. My father worked a high-paying office job, and my mother stayed at home to take care of the house and us kids. I had one older brother, just a year older than me, but our parents made it very clear that he was their favorite. He always got the best food, the nicest birthday presents, and the most attention. I, on the other hand, was treated like I didn't matter. My brother often looked down on me. He acted like he was better than me, and never missed a chance to make me feel small. I tried to get my parents to see how unfair it was, but they didn't listen. No matter how hard I tried to please them, it was never enough. I eventually stopped trying. The biggest change in my life came during my second year of high school. My brother was preparing for entrance exams to get into a top university, but his practice scores were bad. He was stressed out and angry, and he took it out on me. My parents, instead of helping me, gave me all the housework so he could focus on studying. I had no time left for myself or my own studies. Even worse, when I did better in school than he did, they tried to make me look bad to make him feel better. One day, my teacher told me about a school trip to the countryside. We would stay on a farm, pick vegetables, cook meals, and enjoy nature. It was just a 3-night trip, but to me, it felt like a way out. I signed up, even though my father strongly disagreed. He thought farming was for people who failed in life. My mother laughed at me and asked if I had gone crazy for wanting to do hard work and get dirty. But that short trip changed everything for me. It gave me peace, a sense of freedom, and showed me a new way of life. I never looked back. I went against my parents' wishes for the very first time in my life. They didn't want me to join the Rural Experience program, but I had made up my mind. I used the little pocket money I had saved to pay for the trip myself. Looking back, it was one of the best choices I ever made. At home, I always felt unloved and ignored. But on the farm, everything felt different. The clean, fresh air filled my lungs and gave me energy. The work was hard but satisfying. More than anything, I felt a deep sense of peace. For the first time, I felt what it was like to be part of a warm and caring family. The family who hosted me was kind and welcoming. Their oldest son, Nicholas, was the same age as my brother, just 1 year older than me. At first, I didn't know how to act around him. I was worried he might be arrogant, like my brother. But Nicholas turned out to be completely different. He was gentle and respectful, yet strong and dependable. He treated his parents kindly and treated me with the same kindness. Even though I only stayed for 2 days, leaving the farm was very hard. I cried when it was time to go, and Nicholas's mother cried too. She hugged me and said, "You are always welcome here." I promised I would come back. Since they didn't use their phones very often, I started writing letters to them. Soon, Nicholas began writing back, and our letters turned into a kind of diary we shared. Little by little, our friendship grew into love. We began a long-distance relationship. It was innocent and sweet. No hugs, no kisses, just words full of care and hope. While all this was happening, my brother failed to get into the top university he had aimed for. He ended up at a lower-ranked private college. Meanwhile, I was preparing for college myself. But instead of supporting me, my parents told me not to go. They said girls didn't need higher education. But deep down, I knew the truth. They were afraid I would do better than my brother and outshine him. Ever since my visit to the farm, I had dreamed of becoming a farmer. I knew I could start farming without a degree, but I wanted to do it differently, smarter, better, with new ideas. Nicholas had moved to the city to attend college and study farming in a modern way. Inspired by him, I set a goal for myself: to attend college and learn everything I could about agriculture. My parents and brother tried to stop me. They made life at home even harder. Still, I studied every day and never gave up. Finally, I passed the university entrance exam. When I told my father, he didn't congratulate me. Instead, he exploded in anger and asked, "Who gave you permission to do this?" But by then, I didn't need anyone's permission. I wanted to go to a better university than my brother. As a woman, that dream didn't sit well with my parents. My mother said they couldn't pay for my education because my brother needed the money. It broke my heart to hear that. We got into a huge argument, and after years of feeling unwanted, I decided to cut all ties with them. Nicholas, who is now my husband, came to pick me up that very day. His parents, who were always kind to me, welcomed me into their home. They believed in me and even helped pay for my college expenses. Thanks to their support, I studied hard and graduated after 2 years. Soon after, I married Nicholas. During those college years, I never once spoke to my parents or my brother. I had left that part of my life behind. But when it was time to get married, my in-laws gently asked if we could at least inform my parents. They thought it was the right thing to do. So, for the first time in 2 years, we planned a visit to my childhood home. It was the start of summer, a busy time for farmers. We had been working long hours under the sun, so our faces were tanned and our clothes a little worn. When we arrived at my old home, my heart was already nervous, but I didn't expect the welcome we received. My mother looked at us with disgust. In a mocking tone, she said, "No offense, but how old are you people? You must be really poor to be working in the sun like that." Her words were sharp and cold. I felt embarrassed, but I quietly begged her to stop. She ignored me. My brother sneered and made fun of us for doing farm work. I went pale from shame. My in-laws, who had arrived with smiles on their faces, looked shocked and hurt. Nicholas, standing tall beside me, spoke up. He said firmly, "With all due respect, we are proud to be farmers." My father laughed in a cruel way. He said, "Let's be clear. You were disowned at 17. You're a stranger to us now. You're marrying a poor man who sweats for a living. Don't ever come to us for money or help. We don't want anything to do with you." Even though I had already felt like they had abandoned me long ago, hearing it again hurt deeply. Still, I stayed polite and tried to keep things civil. My in-laws and Nicholas looked at me with sympathy, but it only made the pain harder to hide. On the way back home, I sat quietly in the car and cried. That was the moment I promised myself I would fully let go of my past. My real family was the one I had built with Nicholas. Now 17 years have gone by. I've healed. The pain has faded. I no longer carry the weight of that old sorrow. My heart is whole again. I had become a mother of 2, and my days were always busy, but they made me happy. Life was full of little tasks and moments with my children, and I felt content. Over time, I had almost forgotten about my parents and my brother. I didn't think about them much anymore. One day, I got a call from my cousin. We had always been close, and we still met from time to time, even after I got married. She told me that my brother was getting married. I was surprised because I hadn't heard anything about it before. At the wedding, my cousin said, "You might see them." I replied calmly, "Well, since we don't speak anymore, it makes sense that I wouldn't know about it." My cousin also told me that my parents, my brother, and his new wife were planning to move into a new duplex house. She said they might be moving right after the wedding. It seemed like everything in their lives was changing. She knew that my relationship with my parents had been broken for a long time. Still, she thought maybe they expected me to show up at big events like weddings or funerals. After I hung up the phone, something inside me stirred. Without thinking too much, I picked up my phone and dialed my mother's cell phone number. But an automatic voice answered. "This number is no longer in use." I felt a little nervous, but I tried my father's number next. Once again, the same message played. I didn't have my brother's cell phone number, so I couldn't try him directly. With shaky hands, I dialed the landline number for my childhood home. The phone rang. My heart was beating fast. Then someone answered. "Hello?" It was my brother's voice. "Brother, it's Angela," I said softly. I didn't know what else to say. I was about to congratulate him on his wedding, but he interrupted me. "There's no need for you to say anything," he snapped. "You're a stranger now, a farmer. Don't call me again." Then he hung up. I was shocked. I quickly tried calling him back, but I realized he had already blocked my number. I just stared at my phone, feeling numb. No matter how angry he was, we were still family. I didn't expect him to be so cruel. It hurt more than I thought it would. Seeing me so upset, my husband came over. He looked at me with concern and asked gently, "What's wrong? Did something happen?" I wiped my tears and tried to stay calm, but deep down, I felt the pain of being rejected by the people who were once supposed to love me most. I couldn't hold back my tears any longer. When I told my husband and in-laws what my brother had said on the phone, they were just as angry as I was, maybe even more. They acted like it had happened to them too. "My dear, your home is here now. Your family is with us," my mother-in-law said gently, holding my hand. Her words touched my heart so deeply that I started crying again. In that moment, I wished she had been my real mother. She had shown me more love than my own mother ever did. My father-in-law tried to comfort me too. He smiled and said, "You're happy now, and that's all that matters. Don't let this hurt you. The one who stays strong and keeps smiling is the true winner." Then my husband joined in. He hugged me tight and said, "Let's learn from their mistakes and make sure we never become like that, even for the sake of our kids." I felt warm inside. "Thank you, everyone," I said, truly grateful. I realized how lucky I was. Even though I didn't have a loving family by blood, I had found real love and support in the family I had built. But things changed in a big way when my small business was featured on national television. My in-laws had always been hardworking farmers. They owned large grain fields in the Midwestern United States and also grew many kinds of fruits and vegetables. A lot of their produce was perfectly good, but couldn't be sold in stores because it didn't look perfect. I had studied food business in college and worked hard to find a way to make use of all the extra fruits and vegetables without wasting them. With support from the local farmers union, I started an online business. I sold homemade jams, juices, and pickles made from fruits and vegetables that had small flaws but were still healthy and delicious. The business took off quickly. Many mothers loved buying safe, homegrown food for their children. Older people liked the pickles because they reminded them of the past. I worked with other young women like me who had married into farming families and with people who didn't have jobs. Over time, the small business grew into something big, worth over $10 million. Then, one day, our story was shared on a national TV program. After that, the phones at the company didn't stop ringing. Orders poured in. My personal phone was ringing nonstop too. One call came from a number I didn't recognize. Without thinking much, I answered it. To my surprise, it was my brother. The same brother who had shouted at me and hung up years ago. It seemed he had seen the TV show. He didn't call to say sorry. Instead, he asked if he could borrow money to start his own business. I stayed calm and responded quickly and firmly. I said no to my brother's request for money. But he wouldn't give up. He shouted over the phone, telling me to stop arguing and just send him the money. He said that if someone like me, a woman, could start a business and make money, then he could definitely succeed too. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was the same brother who had once told me I was nothing but a stranger, just a farmer. Now he was begging for help. Instead of answering his demands, I asked him why no one had told me they moved. His answer surprised me. He said it was because of his wife. She was from the city and didn't want anything to do with me. Every time someone said my name, she got angry. From what he said, I could tell she was just like him, and like our parents. Cold and selfish. A few hours later, I got another call from an unknown number. This time it was my father. He didn't call to ask how I was. Instead, he yelled at me, asking why I, a woman, was running a business. He said I had stolen a man's job. I calmly told him that Nicholas, my husband, and my father-in-law were a big part of our farm and company. We all worked together. That was normal. He seemed a little unsure, but then he asked why I had never contacted them. I reminded him that he had disowned me years ago. After that, he hung up and blocked my number. Not long after, my phone rang. Again. This time, it was my mother. She said I was making $500 million a year and should send money to them. I explained that our business made that much in total sales, but most of it went to costs, like paying employees and buying supplies. There wasn't much left over for ourselves. She didn't believe me. She accused me of lying and kept asking for money without any shame. I had enough. I told her, even if I had extra money, I wouldn't send it to strangers. Then I hung up and blocked her number too. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A few days later, my parents, my brother, and his wife, whom I had never even met before, all showed up without warning at my in-laws' house. My father walked in and loudly said, "Surprise, Angela! We're canceling your disownment." It was clear they only came because they wanted money. Even my kind mother-in-law looked shocked and asked, "What on earth is wrong with you people?" The whole room was tense. My in-laws just stared at my parents without saying a word. Some of our employees had gathered nearby, watching the scene, with wide eyes. My brother then shouted, "We're your real family! We have the right to share your money!" His wife stood beside him, nodding like she agreed. I was shaking with anger. I didn't think so. Just because we share the same blood doesn't mean we have a real connection. You treated me like a stranger and left me behind when I needed you most. The pain of being rejected by my own family still hurt, and I felt tears welling up again. Just then, my husband Nicholas walked over and stood by my side. He said firmly, "Angela is part of our family now. Even without your approval, we're happy. Please go home." He was strong and calm, standing up for me without hesitation. Some of our employees who had seen everything also spoke up. "How rude can you be?" one of them said. "Did you even think before coming here like this?" At that moment, I realized something very important. This was my real home. These were my people. I felt truly happy and safe. My brother, now red with anger, yelled, "Shut up, all of you country bumpkins! You're just uneducated trash. You should know your place and listen to us." But Nicholas stayed calm. "Actually," he said, "both my father and I graduated from Ivy League universities, and Angela finished her degree at a top agricultural college." My brother looked stunned. He didn't expect that. "Then why are you farming if you went to such good schools?" he blurted out. Nicholas answered with pride. "Farming is an honorable job. We're using everything we learned in college to do something meaningful." I couldn't help it. I laughed. The moment was tense, but it felt good to let it out. "Brother," I said, smiling, "you've lost to Nicholas in every way." A weight lifted off my chest. Maybe I had been scared of my parents and brother for too long. It was time to speak clearly and leave no room for doubt. "We're already strangers," I said. Then I paused and continued, using a polite but firm voice. "So I can't give or lend money to strangers. Please leave now, and if you cause trouble or act violently, I'll call the police and take legal action." I had made myself clear. Our relationship was over. My in-laws and Nicholas moved closer to protect me, standing firmly by my side. Their support made me feel deeply loved and safe. Even our employees stepped in, shouting at my family to leave. My parents, brother, and his wife gave us angry looks, but they knew they had no choice. Slowly, they turned and left. Later, my cousin told me what had really happened. My brother and parents had tried to make quick money in some business scheme, but it failed. They had taken on a lot of debt. Instead of admitting their mistake, they tried to act proud and come to me for help. But it was too late. They had already lost the only thing that really mattered: my trust. But I had no plan to get involved with my old family again. My focus was on my work and the people who truly cared about me. I was surrounded by a real family, kind and respectful in-laws, a loving husband, and 3 sweet children. I cherished every day and felt thankful for the happy life I was living. After the painful meeting with my parents and brother, life slowly returned to normal. And in many ways, it became even more beautiful. I found comfort and joy in the love and support of my husband Nicholas and my in-laws. They never left my side and always made me feel valued and safe. Their constant support became the greatest gift I could ever ask for. My business continued to grow. With the help of my hardworking team, we expanded and reached even more people. The success of the business gave us new chances to help others. We provided high-quality, healthy, and affordable food to our customers, Our work became a symbol of hope for people who believed in hard work, patience, and never giving up. The love and care I received from Nicholas filled me with strength. We enjoyed raising our children in a home full of love and respect. Every day brought laughter, warm hugs, and moments we treasured. Our bond as a family became stronger with time, and our home was always filled with happiness. As the years passed, I also reconnected with some of my extended family. My cousin, who had always supported me, stayed in touch, and from there, I built new relationships with other relatives. These new connections were based on trust, respect, and shared values. It reminded me that true family isn't just about blood. It's about love, kindness, and standing by each other. As for my parents and brother, they continued to face their own problems. I didn't keep in contact, but I quietly hoped they would find peace one day. I had no anger left, just a decision to protect myself and keep moving forward. The pain they caused me no longer controlled my life. Instead, it reminded me of how strong I had become. My life turned into a story of growth and hope. I had faced hard times but came through stronger, building a life filled with love and purpose. I learned that we all have the power to choose our own path and create the life we want, no matter where we come from. As my business grew, we focused even more on the local community. We partnered with nearby farmers and small makers, offering new products that showed off the talents of our area. We stayed true to our values, caring for the earth, creating quality goods, and helping others. Our customers supported us because they trusted us. In return, we gave back by donating to local charities and holding events that brought people together. And as our children continued to grow, so did the love in our home and the strength of the community around us. We taught our children the value of hard work, kindness, and staying strong during tough times. They saw with their own eyes that family is not just about being related by blood. Family is about love, trust, and the moments we share together. Our home became a safe and loving place where our children could grow, learn, and feel supported. They knew they were loved every day. We encouraged them to follow their dreams and to always treat others with care and respect. My in-laws never stopped supporting us. They weren't just my husband's parents. They became the family I had chosen for myself. I was truly thankful for their love and how they accepted me fully into their lives. My mother-in-law, especially, became someone very special to me. She was not only a mother figure, but also a close friend. She gave me advice, comfort, and support through life's ups and downs. Her kindness helped me feel strong and confident. My bond with my cousin also grew stronger. We stayed in close touch, sharing both happy and hard moments in our lives. Through all our conversations and time together, we built a deep and lasting connection. It showed me again that true family is not just about blood, it's about love, support, and understanding. As time passed, I felt peaceful with the choices I had made. While my old family continued to deal with their own problems, I stayed focused on the people who stood by me. My husband, our children, and our close circle of loved ones became my source of strength. They reminded me that family can be found in surprising places, through the people who love you for who you are, who cheer for your success, and who comfort you when life gets hard. My story is proof that family doesn't have to mean the people you were born to. Real family comes from love, shared values, and respect. I had been rejected and pushed away by my birth family, but I built a new life, filled with real love and connection. The journey wasn't easy, but it made me stronger. I learned what really matters: kindness, loyalty, and the courage to move forward. I now fully understand what it means to be part of a true family, and I am grateful every day for the love that came to me in such unexpected and beautiful ways.